Happy New Year! I am Christina K. I hope you guys are doing well. We are talking 2021, recapping how my goals were for the year, and looking forward to 2022. I really held myself accountable for a lot of things in 2021 because 2020 was just a crappy year, let's be honest. So I wanted to really change my mindset of things, what I was doing, improve myself like so many of us did. And I wrote down a list of 21 goals. I'm gonna quickly go through them and just give myself a rating and then talk about what I wanna do this year. So I wasn't gonna do this video at first, but so many of you reached out to me and wanted to know how I did and what my goals were to help you guys push you to do your goals. So I'm so excited to hear that. I hope you guys have awesome words of the year or resolutions or themes of the year. Let's get into it. Let's talk. How did 2021 go? Number one, before you buy, think why. Just be better about what I buy and saving money. And I was terrible with that in 2020 and 2019. I bought my feelings a lot during the pandemic and I was acquiring so much stuff and it was so overwhelming and I was not proud of it. And you know what? Having a lot of haul videos, really watching those back from 2020, I was floored, and you could really see how all the stuff was coming in and how excited I was at the time about getting certain things. And then looking back, I was like, this does nothing for me. It has tags on, it's sitting there, let's get rid of it. So I did a lot of declutters last year, but I also stopped bringing in a lot of stuff, even on my Walt Disney World hauls. Of course, I still bought things, but not as much as I was used to. So I'm gonna give myself an 8 out of 10 because I feel like I can do better with that this year. And I am gonna keep all of these goals for this year too, by the way. I feel like there was a couple of Target trips where I'd be like, ooh, what's this? I'm gonna buy it. I shouldn't, I can always return it. And then I never did. So I'm gonna do even better about that. And also, if you're like me and you go to Target and like everything speaks to you, my new thing is ordering the necessities I need on the app and then do the drive up thing. So I'm not in the store as much. It's also safer, but every once in a while I'll go into Target because it's a nice fix, it's a pick me up, but it just, the more I go in, the more I buy, and I don't need it. That also went saving money, and I definitely did better with that. 7 out of 10 though, and I think because I had to get some really big purchases in 2021. I bought a camera, I had to get a new MacBook, I had to buy a phone, which I am loving, don't get me wrong, those things I needed, major work on my car, so it kind of, you know, took my savings down a little bit, but I definitely saved more and I could do even better. I want to do even better. I have like big personal goals for myself when it comes to money, so I'm only giving myself a 7 out of 10. I want to do 10 out of 10 by the end of the year, man, on all of these things, but it's hard. The next one, spending less time on my phone. I'm giving myself a 9 out of 10 because there's always room for improvement, but I stopped playing games on my phone. I was on social media less. If you guys notice, I stopped posting a lot of stuff. I still do Insta stories because I know it's fun for you guys to follow and it's great with work and stuff, and there's some cool things that happen in my life, I'm not gonna lie, especially when I go to Disney. So I want to share that with you guys, and it's fun for me too to look back on some of the stories and see what I did, but I do it less. I don't need to be on it 20 times a day, and I really am so proud of myself for that in 2021. I use Instagram a lot for my job and social media, and I have to be on my phone a lot for work, but I don't have to be texting everybody all the time, and I did put better use to like reaching out to people. That was a nice feeling, staying more connected with them, but I didn't have to online shop nearly as much. That definitely helped with goal number 1 there. The next was walk 5 miles every day. I wanted to achieve not just the 10,000 steps a day for my Fitbit, but to walk that 5-mile part, just to do that in natural steps, not necessarily go outside and walk 5 miles every day. I'm giving myself an 8 out of 10 because I did that for the first like 6 or 7 months of the year, and then work. I went back to work and that got in the way, my health got in the way. I spent a lot of time sick in November and December. So yeah, I wish it would have been better. I'm giving myself an 8 out of 10. I'm not, you know, I'm not getting annoyed with myself when I don't feel well to be doing that stuff, especially when I got the vaccines and everything and I was in bed. I kind of accounted for that in my goal, but it was hard some days. You want to be achieving that and you just saw it be like 300 steps that day because you were so sick. So I'm not forcing myself because then other issues happen. Giving myself an 8 out of 10, but I have to be more mindful when I'm at work to make it happen, even if I have to get up and walk around the building a little bit. Oh man, this one really annoys me. Move 5 out of 7 days a week. I was trying to do like an every other day, do something, especially with my gym being closed and working from home a good chunk of the year. The first half of the year, I crushed it. I was so proud of myself. I did almost every day a lot too. Then I went back to work and I would come home and be exhausted, or I would have something after work, or I'd get together with a friend that I hadn't seen in a while. So I'm giving myself a 5 out of 10 for that. I have to be more mindful of doing some of that stuff in the morning too, or taking advantage of downtime, the weekend. I know sometimes when I come home I can be really tired, but just doing like 10 minutes of arms, like a simple arm workout, will really help that. So I'm trying to get better about that this year. So far that is, yeah, I'm not proud of that. Not proud of this one either. Get more sleep. Oh, yeah. 5 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10. I was sleeping better in the beginning of the year, and then I just wasn't at the end of the year, the second half of the year, I guess because going back to work, and then I would be like, oh, I want to watch TV. I was binging stuff, which is never good, but it is. I have to prioritize that better, make it more of a priority, because then in the morning, it's really hard to wake up, or you feel off that day, but if you sleep more, it shows. I also had the goal to wake up earlier. I'm giving myself a 2 out of 10 for that. Yeah. There's talks about like if I ever wanted to do a morning show at my job right now, and I'm like, well, I can barely wake up when I'm supposed to wake up now, so I'd really have to start getting that into my routine now, so maybe I can do that eventually. I mean, this is down the line, but yeah. Eat better. I'm giving myself a 6 out of 10. First half of the year, crushed it. I think there were times though where I would have like a bad meal, and then I was like, well, you know what? I already ate bad earlier in the day. I could do it again. That's gotta stop. Snacks I did okay with. I feel like I was really snacky at one point, but yeah, 6 out of 10 we're gonna do for that. I could always eat better, especially being a type 1 diabetic. I'm also going to, because I got really sick for having sweets last year, so I'm going to save that for 1 time a week tops. Like if I'm going, I think I used this as the same example last year. If I'm going to California Pizza Kitchen with some friends and we happen to get the butter cake, I know my friend Alyssa and I are really good about splitting it. That will be the 1 time that week that I do that. But during the holidays, it was bad. I went to like a big bakery near me. My cousin was up from Florida and we took her to all these places, and I ate so much and the sweets really got to me, and I can't do that again. I can't. But if I'm at a gathering or something, my birthday's coming up soon, okay, I'm going to Disney, but try to limit it to 1 time a week. Take time for me. I think we're all guilty of not doing that enough. I'm giving myself a 7 out of 10 because there was definitely a lot of times where I let everyone else around me lean on me for stuff, and I was like neglecting me time, and it was really affecting me, and I don't regret being there for them, but I could have done it a little bit differently, and I'm not going to get into specifics obviously, but I have to be a little bit more mindful of doing that and not trying to please everyone around me, and then where am I? Am I happy at all, you know? But I'm going to do 7 out of 10 for that. Declutter, get more organized, 8 out of 10. I am so proud of all the decluttering I did last year. I still have more to go. I might film some of it, I might not. I did a good chunk of it on on camera last year, but some of the stuff is boring too and it takes a while. But I definitely, even the stuff I did declutter, I want to go back now and kind of like fine tooth it. What is that saying? You guys know what I'm talking about, but I want to go through it a little bit more and declutter even more. Wallet declutter, and I was like, I shouldn't have 12 wallets, like I can declutter that even more. So I'm not going to do that on camera for some of those collections, especially when I just did them last year. Some of them I might declutter. I know someone asked for, what was it, like skirts and Disney dresses, and I could definitely declutter that, so I might film that one. But yeah, I definitely have more decluttering to do. For sure. And more organization. Like I'm really kicking it up a notch with organization. If it doesn't have a home, it doesn't stay up here is basically how I feel. So 8 out of 10 I'll give myself for that, and hopefully I can do like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 next year. This year rather. Learn to do new things even if they are scary. I learned I was so set in my ways and I didn't really want to learn a lot of new things, and I don't know why I was like that. I don't know if like that was the way I was raised or other people around me, but it's so stupid. It's such a simple thing. Like I'm in my early 30s. I should not be set in my ways yet. I should be open to learning new things. This is a big time of growth for me. And that was a big thing of growth, like being even in that mindset, being more open to things. So I'm giving myself a 9 out of 10. I Definitely jumped a lot out of my comfort zone. I did things even though they were scary for me. I learned stuff that really didn't interest me. I really didn't think I'd ever have an interest in football. And I started working with some either current or former NFL players, and it's actually really enjoyable. So I'm definitely on the football. I still need to learn some things too, but man, I get why people are so into it now. So I'm proud of myself for something like that. I don't know, there was like learning how to cook more, which I absolutely love doing now, and baking and all that. I know I said no sweets, but I bake a lot of stuff without sugar and that are dairy free too. Yeah, I'm really proud of myself for that. Trying new things. Like I remember doing an appearance for my radio station, and like they had a food truck there, and there was a lot of foods that I was like, I don't know if I like, and there was like something with jalapenos in it, and I was like, I don't know. I tried it. I loved it. I think a year or two ago, I'd have been like, I'm gonna stick to my granola bar, I'm good. But just even opening myself up to the idea of that, and I don't know why it's like, why you're so scared about something like that. If you don't like it, you don't like it, you know? No one's gonna ever force me to learn these things, but I have to be more open-minded to them. Is this making sense? Don't let things consume me. Yeah, I was very much in my head. I was trying to control a lot of things. Life is not that way. You can't control every single thing that goes on. Obviously, we lost a lot of control during the pandemic. I'm giving myself a 9 out of 10 for that because I'm very proud of the mindset I'm in for that. And I'll be completely honest with you guys, it wasn't all stuff that came from within. I did talk to a therapist about it, and she gave me like really good coping mechanisms for that. So I would highly recommend, if you're thinking about it, talking to somebody. There's some great links that I could leave down below if you're interested. But obviously you do that at your own pace. When you're ready, that's when you do it. And even if there's not like big things that are stressing you out going on in your life, sometimes it's just nice to have an impartial party to talk to, because sometimes your friends are very opinionated about it, or they're looking out for somebody else, or family. They're very set in their ways. When you talk to a specialist, that's what they're there for. And they're kind of the, I don't know, another like soundboard, someone you could bounce ideas off of and just say some of the stuff out loud too. It's so important. Stay true to me. I had lost myself a little bit, and I was trying to please other people or be the person they wanted to see or whatever. That's bull. Because honestly, if you can't be you and you're pleasing everybody else, you're not going to be happy with who you are. And I'm very, very comfortable with who I am. And honestly, I'll be completely honest. Last year at this time, I was not confident in who I am. I know sometimes on video it could seem that way, but I was really struggling internally with a lot of things that I was doing or not doing. And I think just making a lot of these changes in the 21 goals helped me to be confident again. I could care less if people make fun of me for loving Disney so much or not acting my age or whatever the case may be. I don't care. I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I'm pretty sure I said that last year in a video or two. No one is. But don't try to be anyone else, because that person's already taken. And I am so happy with coming to terms with that and being that person, because you know what? If you don't like that person, if like that person doesn't want to be in your life, do you really want them in your life? So I'm giving myself a 9 out of 10 for that, because you can always do better with that. But I can confidently sit here and say I know exactly who I am, and I'm not going to change for anybody. Take it or leave it. Take a step back before you react. I think, you know, working from home and being home, the thoughts were just in me and I had to do something, and I would text somebody back right away or tell them how I felt about something. But it's smart to gather your words and your thoughts sometimes, because most of the time when you react right away, it comes out wrong. And I learned that a lot in 2020 and even in 2021. So sometimes you just gotta take a step back. And I think one of the things that I struggled with in 2020 was that I always felt like the person had to hear what I had to say, or I had to get my final thought in. Sometimes they don't, and sometimes not reacting is reacting more than you think. So I'm giving myself an 8 out of 10 with that. Can always improve, because I think of a couple of moments in 2021 where I totally reacted, where I could have just like thought about it more. And also, I shouldn't like just react when it's my time of the month, because that never ends well. The next one is smile more, worry less. There's stuff that's always going to be on your mind that you're always worried about, of course. But you know what? Don't let it consume you as much. I I almost lost my mother this year. It was terrifying. And one of the many gifts I got from my mother is my ability to stay positive. That's how I've gotten through some really bad times in my life. And I think I was so super negative in 2020, even when there wasn't stuff like personally affecting me. And then when something like personal really happened to me, it totally made me not smile and enjoy life. It brought me to a really dark place. And I'm so grateful that last year I worked on that a lot, because at the end of the year when something tragic happened, I think it would have consumed me altogether and it would have been terrible. And for my mom's sake, it was happy to smile about it and joke about it. Not joke about it, that's wrong, but to joke with her about things when stuff was really serious. And we could have just, you know, dropped everything else we were doing, but because she still wanted to continue stuff for the holidays and whatnot, it helped. So smile more, worry less, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You may think this is the worst of times right now. You don't know. It could get worse tomorrow. It could get better tomorrow, but you can't focus on that. You can't stress out about that. Enjoy the now. I always think of that quote from The Office, the final episode, where Andy's like, I wish someone would tell you, I wish you would know when you're in the good old days before you left them or whatever. Life doesn't work that way, so enjoy them now, because these could be the best days and you were so worried about what's to come. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. In my head it makes sense, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. So smile more, worry less, 9 out of 10. Could always do better with that. Don't put things off for tomorrow, 8 out of 10. I was so good about being like, I'll get to that tomorrow. That pile over there, I'll clean it up tomorrow. It's amazing what that's done for my mindset, where I'm like, you know what? Let me clean this now, or let me get to this small project now. The longer you let some of those projects wait, the bigger they seem in your head, and then you don't want to get to it. There are certain things that I will put off. I'm not gonna lie, I am human, but I was so much better about that. So I'm gonna give myself an 8 out of 10, because I can always be better about that. Especially some adulting things that none of us ever want to get to. Be better about time management. I was great until I went back to work, and then it seemed so weird when I first went back to work trying to get into that time management again, because it had been well over a year. So I was like, you got to factor in the commute again, you got to do this and that. So I'm giving myself a 5 out of 10, because there was quite a few months there where I was not proud of the time management, and I was like, I was struggling to find time to get things done. But like the past couple of months I've been, well, this month, I should say, I've been getting better about that again. And my sister got me a happy planner for Christmas, and it's like really, really suited to me. And I put like little things to get better about each day. So like if I have to make a phone call for something, like get it done like while I'm in the car driving. Not some of the more serious phone calls, but I don't know, stuff like that. Or if I like, you know, need to do like little projects, like do them throughout the week. Yeah, for everyone that's going to be different, but I have to be better about time management, so I'm giving myself a 5 out of 10. I have to be better about planning on when to film too, because there's weeks that go by I didn't have a time, but if I like maybe do 3 one week, like film it on the weekend, so I have to be better about scheduling that stuff. Focus less on what I can't do and more on what I can, 9 out of 10. That kind of goes with the whole comfort zone thing too. This is gonna sound so stupid, guys. I have an attic, and it's got like the stairs that you pull down, and for some reason, I guess when I was younger, I was trying to get off, like down from the attic, and I couldn't figure out how to get down, and I felt stuck, and I got like a panic attack. So I hadn't been up in my personal attic, and I would always send somebody else up, and I was like, that's so annoying, because I'm relying on other people. Like, I'm a big girl, I can do it. And the first time I went up, like I had to like calm myself down. I was very nervous, but then I was able to do it. And now I go up every week, and it's just like, it's so much easier. And like, I have been able to like declutter stuff, well, not declutter completely, but put stuff up in the attic. I go up and down all the time. It was like fears like that I have gotten so much better about. And I know that sounds stupid to you guys, but if you have a fear of that or a fear of heights too, you get it. I worked at the Disney store years ago, and we had like tall ladders, and I fell from the ladder, and it terrified me to do something like that again. So I thought about that with my attic. And like, the past is in the past, you know, learn to be safe and just move forward. Meeting new people too. I had like crippled myself on meeting new people because I did not feel adequate enough. And I think like coming to terms with some of these other goals and talking to somebody really helped with that. Like this is gonna sound so stupid, but I had a bunch of like wedding duties to do with one of my best friends who got married last year, and there was a lot of people at this wedding that I did not know. There's quite a few that I did, but I was like kind of like nervous every time we had to go to a rehearsal dinner, whatever, because I was nervous about being around other people. Now, that was a stupid fear to have because I met so many amazing people from that I still talk to, but I was just not feeling adequate enough, and I realized that's what it is. It's not that I'm not good enough, it was just this fear of that, so I try to block that out. Also, getting back into the world, I felt, and I know I'm not the only one who feels this way, I felt like because I was working from home, I wasn't living my life, some things that happened to me, and I felt like they took me away from me. So I was really nervous about getting back out there, and it was the greatest thing. So sometimes when you face your fears, it's great. I'm not telling you to be in a pit with like snakes, because trust me, I ain't gonna do that. But like little things are not as big of a thing as you think. One of my friends is terrified of flying, and he would not fly, but he wanted to go down to Walt Disney World for the 50th, and you know, I feel so bad. Like, 'cause I did laugh on the flight because he was like, I had never seen a grown man fly like that before. But that's his fear. And you know what? I had to think like, there are some things that would terrify me like that too. So that was his fear, and like helping him through that. And now he like is planning all these other trips where he can fly. He's, you know, still not ready to fly like more than 3 or 4 hours, but it was totally something in his control. So there are stuff like that that you guys can tackle too. Not all of your fears, but some of them. Okay, sunscreen every day. That is the one I'm giving myself a 10 out of 10 for. I did it every single day, even when I got the vaccines, even when I was sick. I would still make it a point to wash my face every day and put sunscreen on, and I really think that did help with my skin too. I was terrible about my skincare in 2020, and I was like starting to see some wrinkles and some signs of aging. I have terrible skin to begin with, so it's never going to be great, but putting on sunscreen, I feel like kind of pushed back the aging a little bit. I know I'm still young, but like those signs of aging were definitely there. And I think from the pandemic too, I was just like accelerating it. So I feel like the sunscreen really helped. And I highly recommend that to you guys too. I'm gonna focus more on skincare this year too, because my skin is terrible. Like, I'm wearing a turtleneck today because my skin is just so bad. So I'm doing more research, and I'm going for a hydrofacial in a few days, and I'm really taking better care of me again. Stand up for myself. Oof, man. I used to always stand up for myself, and then like little things happen here and there, and it kind of like knocks it down a little bit. I would say in maybe 19 a little bit, definitely 2020, I did not stand up for myself. I stood up for myself so many times in 2021 that I am so proud. I'm giving myself a 9 out of 10, whether it be with family members or friends or co-workers. So many instances where I stand up for myself, and you know what? If people don't listen to you, move on. But I've noticed that so many people, and it's not just me that this is happening to, some people are just so assuming. They think, oh, well, this person is never going to be able to do this, or this person will only do this. And that's like one of my biggest pet peeves. And sometimes you can't change their judgment of it, but there's other times where it's like, okay, you don't know me the way you think you do. And you know what happens when you assume things. You know that saying. So I can definitely be better about it. But there are definitely situations where I needed to stand up for myself. I felt like I had such a huge target on my back with something at work. I stood up for myself, and now that person and I are like really close. It blows my mind. But we've done so many things together where here I thought this person was going to fire me, and they just didn't really know me. And when I stood up for myself, they gained a lot of respect for me. So just go about it, like really think about what you're gonna say, but definitely stand up for yourself. And don't be whiny about it too. I feel like it's not a good look. Learn from the past, but don't focus on it. Don't fear the future either. I'm giving myself an 8 out of 10. So yeah, I'm very fearful about certain things in the future with just the world in general and finding my place and whatever. But I'm not focused on it every day like I was. Trust me, I was. The past was also something that was very much in my present. And I had to learn to let things go. And again, talking to someone definitely helped, and talking to people that were around during that time or whatever. I could go more into that, but I don't want this video to be super long, but that was super important for me for 2021. That may not seem like a big thing, but for me, it was huge, and I'm giving myself an 8 out of 10 for that. I have to, certain things from the past though, like I have to stop dwelling on sometimes, even if it's just like a conversation where I'm like, oh man, I could have handled that so different. It happened, learn from it, move on. Remember 2020, but don't take things for granted. Oh, 100% something that I took with me throughout 2021. I'm giving myself a 9 out of 10 for that. Some of the other goals that I have for this year, it's okay to save, it's okay to use. I feel like there are certain things where you can save it for an emergency or whatever, but I was like buying stuff in like bulk, and I was like, oh, I don't want to use it just in case of anything. No, I had like a bunch of like Disney stickers where I was like, I'm gonna save them, but I put them in magic mail now, and I'm like, it's really okay to use these things because they're just gonna sit there, and then what's the point of having them, you know? So be better about that. Drink plenty of water each day. I got so bad with that, and now I'm like writing it down in my planner every day to make sure I drink more water, because you'll feel a difference. You really will. And same thing for my skin too. I'll feel a difference in my skin. Take better care of myself, like dental wise. Like I have to go to the dentist. I put that off. Like be better about teeth whitening again, and products that I'm using. Skincare, same thing for that. Like going back and treating myself to hydrofacials, because I was doing that in 2018, 2019 maybe, and it was doing improvements for my skin, and just get back into like really taking care of my appearance. Like I feel like there are times where I do, and there's times where I'm lazy, but there's consistent things I could be doing all throughout with that, if that makes sense. And upgrade on the things I need to upgrade on. I have a lengthy list of things that entails. It could be something small like clothing or like shoes, like I have to get better of something. My phone was a big one. I am loving my brand new iPhone 13 Pro. I had put it off so long. It's improved my life, and I know sometimes like you don't want to spend the money, but there are things where you should. I put off getting a MacBook until it died, and I was in trouble, and now I'm like, why did I put this off? It takes me so much quicker to edit videos or do the things that I have to do. So make those kind of improvements, and not just technology stuff, but like I said, there's a long list. So all of those things are going to be incorporated for me this year. I feel like there's other things that I could talk about too that are kind of personal, but I will say a lot of you guys have asked some questions, some personal ones, some not so personal ones, so I do want to do a question and answers video. So leave your questions in the comments below. If you want me to clarify any of these too, that's fine. Or on Instagram. I know sometimes people don't want to leave comments on YouTube because then it's public. I will leave my Instagram here if you want to message me on Instagram, and I'm going to do my best to answer as many of them as possible, probably either the end of this month or in February. There's a couple of questions that I've been putting off for a while that I think it's finally time to talk about, because they're definitely not going away anytime soon. So let me know your questions. Please be kind with them, and please be kind about your reactions to my goals for the year. I would love to hear some of your goals. Is there a word? I've heard a lot of people say they're using a word to describe their year. So one word that I'm going to use, which I guess goes with one of my goals, I should write this down, is focus. To focus more on a project I'm doing, on what I want to accomplish, just focus on the task that I'm doing, the conversation I'm having. Sometimes when I have a conversation with someone, I'm thinking about other things. Focus. Even when I do my videos, focus. So that's going to be like my word of the year. So let me know if you're doing a word or a theme of the year in the comments below. And yeah, let's make 2020 the best one yet. I feel really good about this year. I know there's not a lot of good happening around us in the world, but to make the most of it, because you don't know what tomorrow brings. I'm hoping that you and your loved ones have a very happy and healthy 2022. Let's kick this year's butt, right? Thank you so much for watching. I am Christina K. Have a Disney day.